to be a blind beggar from outer Mongolia not to have noticed that Jews are disproportionately good with money. Now you understand that if you say that, that's anti-Semitic bigotry. But if I say it, it's research. So that's the lunacy of the world in which we live, but that's how it is. And so I asked the question, why is it that Jews are so good with money? I mean, for heaven's sake, you just got to take a look at the Forbes 400 list. Jews are 2% of the American population. That should be on the Forbes 400 list. It should be 8 Jews, maybe 8.5 if there's a half-wit in there somewhere. So why? Why is it that in no year are there fewer than 60 Jews on the Forbes 400 list? I hope nobody sort of just pops their head in right at this moment. They'll think they're at a meeting of the KKK or something. Why are Jews all take all the money? No, there's got to be a good reason for this. What's going on? Why is that? Why such a disproportion? Well, there are a couple of possibilities, of course, and I discuss them in the book. One of them is Jews rip people off all the time. Yeah, we've got to look at that possibility. I mean, because is honesty the best policy in business? Oh, you sentimental, naive fools. Of course, honesty isn't the best policy in business. Total moral flexibility is the best policy in business. Unless you're planning on staying in business for a long time. Then everything is different, of course. Yes, if you're planning on staying in business for a long time, then you do need a structure of morality. But even a long-term view is part of our spiritual beings, not part of our physical beings, see? And so it's really important to accept the possibility. Maybe Jews prosper because they rip people off. Well, I researched that. And there are just too many people who've been doing business with Jews for too many years for that to be a reality. Couldn't find it. Oh, sure. I mean, there are a number of Jewish thieves and crooks just as there are among anybody else, but it's not any higher. The proportion doesn't explain Jewish financial success. I have a look at other possibilities. I look at the possibility of the Jewish money gene, which gets passed down in male Jewish sperm, no doubt. Again, for the total racist fools in the world, I suppose that makes some level of sense, but from a medical point of view, it makes absolutely no sense at all. It's sort of, the idea is that the Cossacks killed all the poor Jews, leaving just the rich ones to breed. Well, if that were true, then you would have to find evidence of something like that, a money gene, number one. Number two, you would have to find an explanation for a phenomenon that I'm sure you all are aware of, you've all read of, you might even know people in this situation. And that is, first generation in a family breaks their necks, works hard and builds a fortune. Second generation has a good time. Third generation dissipates the fortune and it's all gone. If there's a money gene, how come the third generation doesn't make money also? There's no such thing as a money gene. And so, if it's not ripping people off and it isn't a money gene, what is it then? Well, maybe is it intelligence? Jews have high IQs. If that were true, then, in other words, if high IQs are the way to make money, then the faculties of major universities would be made up of extremely successful, financially self-made men and women. Everybody knows there's no bigger financial fool than a tenured university professor. It's true, I'm sorry. And for all you tenured professors here this afternoon, I don't mean to insult you, I'm sorry, but I've got to tell you the truth. We haven't got enough time to dance around here this afternoon. So, and the truth is, high intelligence doesn't work. Now, the truth is, very low intelligence doesn't work either. You remember Forrest Gump? The idea of Forrest Gump becoming a tycoon, I'm sorry. Don't bank on it. It doesn't work. But as problematic as very low IQ is, a very high IQ, also a big problem. Doesn't work. Bottom line is, when we got right down to the bottom of it, I was able to condense the total sum of the secrets of Jewish financial success into what I called the 10 Commandments of making money. 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 10 Jews are disproportionately successful with money, not just in America, but throughout the world, not only in the 21st century or the 20th century, but in almost every century, because they have had complete and total cultural access to the idea that the world is physical and spiritual. Now, obviously, within Judaism, there's a religious dimension. But when I wrote Thou Shalt Prosper, I wrote that book for people of any background, because the basic principles, whilst they obviously flow from the Bible and from Judeo-Christian faith, it is not an accident, after all, I'm sure you will agree, unless there's some of you who have a childlike faith in coincidence and the tooth fairy, you would agree that it is truly amazing that no capital market has ever grown indigenously in a non-Christian country. Never happened. That is too much of a coincidence. No capital market has ever emerged indigenously in a non-Christian country. Never happened. Also in the last 1,000 years, over 98% of all the advances in science, in technology, in mathematics, in medicine, all came from Christian countries. There's a reason for that. Because success demands two eyes, like I showed you before. Put out those fingers and shut one eye, you're going to miss your target. Try and look at the world only as a physical entity and not as a spiritual entity as well. You'll miss your target because you won't understand the deepest yearnings of your customers, your employees, your vendors, and every person that plays any kind of a role in your economic enterprise. And so we have to understand in the few minutes we have left, we've got to get a handle on whether money itself is physical or spiritual. Well, what is money? Is it discs of metal clinking in your pocket? Yeah, I guess so. Well, wait a sec, how about those colored strips of paper in your wallet? Well, yeah, that's money as well. Credit card. You know on the back of your credit card there's a brown strip. You know what that is? That's iron oxide molecules. And when some of them are oriented in certain directions, that turns into money. You can spend it in a store. Excuse me? So now money is not discs of metal, it's iron oxide molecules facing certain ways? Well, yes, I'm afraid so. How's about if somebody writes you a check? Created money? Yeah, I guess so. How about if they didn't write you a check? They just put out their hand and said, check on it, I'll give you $10 on Friday. What's that? Also money. What is money? Physical or spiritual? Well, the general rule is that if you want to destroy something physical, you have to be right there. If I want to smash the windshield of somebody's car, I've got to be there and take a brick and hurl it through the car. Can I destroy your car from a distance? Like, can I throw a curse onto it? I don't think so. Yeah, not Harry Potter. The reality in this world in which we live, I can destroy spiritual things at a distance, but I cannot destroy physical things at a distance. Let me give you an example. Your reputation, physical or spiritual, well, hard to know. Apply the test. How difficult would it be for me to destroy your reputation? Anyone here this afternoon? At a distance. I don't have to come near you. Remember, I have a radio show. How long would it take me to destroy your reputation? You might try and sue me, but there's a lot of freedom of speech in America. I could destroy your reputation without even ever meeting you. Because reputations are spiritual, not physical. Right now, everybody has a net worth. You all got a net worth. While you are here, my associates are busy throughout Western Washington telling everybody, and before we're done here today, they will have expanded through the entire United States west of the Mississippi, and tomorrow they'll start on the east side of the country. They are persuading everybody very successfully